Whoa, what's up, guys? It's Zeno here, and the World Cup final has concluded. And it's with an Argentina W over France in penalty shootout, and what was the best final of all time. And I'm Zeno here, and I'm wearing Neymar's debut kit, the kit that means everything to me. And I've also got a few friends with me. Dave?
What's up, boys? Viva Messi. Viva Argentina.
Viva Mexico.
Vamos.
Dan?
How's it going, everyone? It was an exciting game. Very exciting. As much as the little bit of the first half was a little snoozy. But, man, that game ended off with a bang for the ages.
Yeah.
We're also joined specially by a recurring guest, JP.
Hello. I missed the best game in World Cup history, but that's okay.
Repping the France, too.
Okay, man. It happens.
Happens to the best of us.
Happens to the best.
And to the right of him is James.
We're coming for that egg, man. We're coming for the egg.
El huevo.
El huevo.
And look, Messi has just won his first World Cup in extraordinary fashion.
Vamos.
Because the way it happened, you got 2 bloody goals. Kylian Mbappe traded him with 3 goals. So let me ask you guys, who had a better game, Messi or Mbappe? Let me start with you, James.
I think it's easy to look at the 3 goals and say Mbappe. But I think across the 120 minutes, across the whole pitch, I think Messi had a more complete performance. 2 goals, yes. But, he was tracking back, winning the ball back, dropping deep to get the ball and create. Linking up play, even with the Di Maria goal, his little 1-2 with McAllister. He was dropping deep to link up the play. So I think overall, he had a more influential performance than Mbappe, despite Mbappe scoring 3 goals and literally carrying France in that game. I do think Messi overall had a better performance.
Messi?
I will have to agree with you there. Messi was doing it for the
Maybe I'm wrong.
Messi was doing it for, what do you mean? Wow, you don't know ball, bro.
You don't know ball.
You don't know ball if you don't think Messi was a better player
Then who?
than Mbappe.
I think.
Why? Because
I don't even think he was the best player in Argentina.
Who was?
Martinez,
No.
Martinez who?
the keeper.
Second best.
No, if he didn't save
Messi
that
didn't
last
score
Colomboani shot, they lost the World Cup.
Yeah, but if
Yeah,
Messi didn't score
if
the third
Martinez
goal,
scored his actual shots,
It's the same for Mbappe. I would cancel maybe Mbappe and Messi out because they're both the goal scorers for the team. But Martinez saved Argentina in the penalties.
he wouldn't have had to if Martinez scored his 3 bloody shots.
He literally saved Martinez in 2 times.
Lautaro had 3 shots he should have scored.
It's Lautaro. So I'm talking
Exactly.
about Lautaro.
You could say this, that, but Messi had the better game.
No.
Especially against Mbappe, in my opinion. Messi did it the whole 90 minutes. How long did it take for Mbappe to start, getting on fire?
Well,
The last 10 minutes.
It's different, man. It's different. You can't compare the 2 players. They're different players.
You can't compare them. Messi and Mbappe?
No, you can't.
We're comparing the 2 of the best players on the team. That's the whole. That's the whole argument.
It's like comparing Messi with a defender.
Well, then why are you saying Martinez for?
Because it's it's about the
Bro,
what?
his question, Jay's question, or James' question was who had a better game. Why you have to switch the question for?
Who had the better game? I think Martinez had the better game. A good game.
No, I said between Messi and Mbappe.
Oh, I'm sorry. I probably didn't hear you guys properly. Sorry.
This guy is lost, bro.
Messi or Mbappe? I'm picking Mbappe.
Bro, it took him 80th minute for him to start shining.
It didn't take him to the 80th minute. It literally took the team to take the subs. The Champ changed the style a little bit, and he literally destroyed the defenders.
He changed the style in the 35th minute. He took off your main man Giroud.
Okay,
and he did nothing.
And what's the? I don't want you he doesn't know ball. Honestly,
I don't know ball. This guy's saying Mbappe had a better game.
So what? You would keep if you were a manager, you'd keep the players on the pitch if there's nothing happening. Obviously, you're gonna make changes.
Of course not. But for you to say that Mbappe had a better game, that's fact.
He literally carried the French team. He literally changed the game for that nation and that squad.
Messi didn't carry Argentina.
He literally came back from a 2-0 disadvantage. Mbappe came on and I guess woke up.
He was playing the whole game.
Maybe he wasn't. He was
playing the whole
playing
game.
well at the start. Maybe they were defending him really well.
So then why did
maybe
how
Giroud
did he
was
have a better game?
What?
So how did he have a better game if he didn't play a good game the whole game?
But he's a big
had a
impact.
good-
Who
he had
cares
a
if
good 10 minutes.
So if he's sleeping for the first 20 minutes, the rest of the game doesn't matter.
He had a good game.
So if you don't start off really really strong at the beginning of the game, the rest of your game is done.
in my opinion, if Messi had a better full-out game, yeah.
But Mbappe, for what Mbappe did to come back,
Mbappe scored one more goal. Messi scored 2. How does that make a
he
big
changed the game. Even if you say the penalties, but he caused those penalties.
Messi's last goal changed the game too. It tied it up.
Okay, that was an error from the actual team. Like what
scored.
and everything that Mbappe didn't created was from his own like quality of play.
The penalty was his too.
The second one was it not his a foul that was committed from him.
He had one penalty. He had
You scored 2 penalties.
2 penalties.
Okay,
sorry.
and Messi's
One
penalty
was,
too. Messi's penalty too was bullshit.
Colomwani, then the other one was the handball.
Messi's penalty
Oh,
was
the
shit
handball
too.
yeah. I don't know. I think Messi had a better game.
Sure, Messi's last goal, okay, I'll give him that one, the last goal. But even then, that was like a huge mistake from the defensive side of France, and Messi just tapped the ball in. The second goal, if anything, was a lot better because he created that too. Who scored that one?
McAllister.
Di Maria.
Oh, Di Maria.
Passed for McAllister.
But McAllister got the assist, but Messi
Yeah.
was involved in the build-up.
Messi was
involved in the
Messi
build-up.
was
He scored a
huge
penalty
involvement.
that was given to him because Di Maria was through himself, and then the tap in. Mbappe had a better game.
Nah.
Okay, well, I'll go.
So
What-
2-1 Messi right now.
What I saw Kylian Mbappe do on that pitch was something I've never seen before.
Thank you.
The fear he struck in those Argentina players
Not
for those
to
last
Messi.
10 minutes
Yes,
wa-
to Messi.
was some of the most like exciting like momentum I've ever seen. He were the Argentina defenders not shook.
Yeah, they were.
Dude, the entire nation was shook.
They
They
were
were probably
shook.
so quiet.
I was shook and I wasn't even on the field.
I was
And I think I actually saw this on our Australian friends, their podcast. Mbappe is close to becoming. I think that game, what that did for Mbappe was made him a worldwide megastar. Because this is a take that I heard. Would Mbappe rather? What would have been better for Mbappe? The fact that he scored these 3 goals and lost, or if he didn't have a good final, like no goals, no assists, and they won.
Yeah, it's true. I believe.
I think Mbappe scoring this hat trick and losing was bigger than if he won.
No way.
If he won and did nothing.
100%.
No
100%.
way.
Low key it is for his like for
No,
like his
it's not.
character development.
For his image, yes.
No, it's not.
'Cause
Not.
that-
It's not.
Yes.
How is it for his image? The only reason Pele is better in his eyes, or in a lot of people's eyes, is because he has 3 World Cups.
Yeah, but the difference is Mbappe already has a World Cup.
Exactly. And what's another one? He's a
Yeah, but
he's
him
more
sco-
closer to being with
Yeah, but
Pele.
look how much the world was talking about Mbappe.
How hard is it to win a World Cup?
He already has one.
Exactly.
Messi
But
just got his.
You want him to be
Messi just got his at 35 years old. And
exactly-
Mbappe got his at
and
18.
exactly. If Mbappe got another,
And Mbappe has 5 more other World Cups he can go play
and
with.
how hard is it to win a World Cup?
Not hard for Mbappe. He was in the
hard for
finals.
anyone
He
to
was
win a
one.
World Cup.
He was one
It's the
back to
hardest
back.
tournament ever.
But it's not hard
There's
for
so
a
much
French
fluke
nation.
and there's so much
it's
luck
not.
in that
It's not
tournament.
hard for a French nation.
Oh my gosh!
Of this caliber, who you can
You think
who
France is going to make the World Cup every final? Every
yes
final in the World Cup.
Not every final, but they'll make every World Cup, and they know that they still have quality coming every single
but
year.
they can lose again. They just like this World Cup. You can lose to Morocco. You can lose to any team.
You have
if you take
okay,
a chance,
but you have a key player like Mbappe in your squad. You know you can do a lot of
anything. It's a lot of luck.
and Messi too. I think if Messi wasn't playing on this team is nothing.
Yeah, Argentina got a lot of luck too. Exactly. Why would I?
No, I
me as a
don't-
player, I think it's better that you get a World Cup than have 3 goals in the finals.
No,
of course.
no,
France
no.
and-
I think
That's
no,
better for his
I'm
legacy.
talking about for Mbappe specifically. I think
100%.
this hat trick was bigger for his brand
way.
because since he already has that World Cup, him losing this one
And
doesn't
what's-
see him as a
what's-
loser. He's not
what's
seen as a
battle having
loser.
Another one.
Nothing. But
If Mbappe won this World Cup and did nothing,
crazy.
no. If Mbappe won this World Cup and did nothing in the final, no casuals would know who he is.
Yeah.
Everyone knows who he is. You had like random I'll say Americans because that's what I was seeing a lot. Americans who never watch soccer ever talking about how Mbappe is that dude, and he lost because he scored a World Cup final hat trick.
there is a lot of Mbappe fans that were created yesterday, and
Yeah.
the vision, the fact that he is kind of a highlight of what his image is like Ronaldo. I'm sure a lot of people still respect Ronaldo too, because this guy is literally playing like his icon, his hero, his role model. You know, he grew up wanting to be his idol, and he's a product of his image as well. And now that Ronaldo's gonna start retiring, now there's a replacement for him. He's his how can you call it, his there's a word for it, but yeah, his
Let me ask you guys a question.
His offspring.
in a couple years from now, maybe a decade from now,
Yeah.
what are people going to remember?
And Mbappe's still playing.
Messi's World Cup in 2018 or Mbappe scoring a hat trick in 2018?
No, Messi's World
In,
Cup. But that's not the
2022.
question.
Obviously, Messi's
But
World
you're
Cup.
saying what's better for Mbappe?
Yeah.
The World Cup is better for Mbappe in the
He
future.
has
Okay,
one.
okay. I think
The only reason why
no,
Americans
I think Mbappe has 85 million followers on Instagram right now. Last time I checked, which was before the final, which was at some time during the tournament, he had about 65, 70. So he gained at least 15, 20 million followers from that World Cup final.
And imagine
let's
if he
say,
won
no,
it.
let's say he won and scored 0 goals. Would he gain 15 million
Yes, he
followers?
would.
No,
No, he
no, he
wouldn't.
wouldn't.
Everything
No,
would
he
be-
wouldn't
no, he
have.
wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't
Are you
have.
serious?
No, he wouldn't
He
have.
wouldn't.
Nah,
Dude, he
dude,
didn't
he
score a
wouldn't.
goal in
He
the
wouldn't.
2 knockout round games. And if he didn't score this
Everyone
round,
would go
if he didn't score
crazy.
this one, and say Giroud scored this one and got the game winner, I'm sure Giroud got a lot of more respect as well.
Yeah.
Scoring those goals.
23
Maybe he
years-
would have been known as maybe the MVP of the
23 years
game,
old.
player of the man of the match.
23 years old, and he would have 2 World Cups.
No,
under his
Okay,
belt.
okay.
So a
but-
lot of players on that team have 2 World Cups under the belt that they win.
Not Mbappe.
Okay,
though.
but-
Not
Giroud
the
will
man.
at that age.
Okay, but let's say a good example is the casual, like let's say it's your scenario where they won and Mbappe didn't score or assist. Is the casual Logan Paul noticing Mbappe in that game?
In that game?
No, but him scoring a hat trick in a World Cup final, everyone knows who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Americans it's recency bias for sure. But in the future,
No, we're talking about
That's
right
growing
now.
the brand. Casuals. That's growing the brand.
yeah,
What?
but prolonging in the future, they're not gonna remember those 3 goals.
Yeah,
Everyone's
no,
gonna remember
yes, he
a
will,
World
dude.
Cup.
Yes, they will.
This is the
People's gonna
only
run-
and time that a hat trick has been scored in the World Cup final.
Second.
not.
Second
Since
time?
1966.
Okay, but the most relevant in today's this will be remembered in the next 20,
course
30
it's
years.
relevant.
Okay,
Yeah.
but exactly.
But
But someone at his
a
age,
23-year-old French young star winning 2 World Cups.
but
is
the
not,
fact that if people watch this game from beginning to end and realize how he changed the game, because maybe a lot of the French players were doubtful already, like you're crying. Giroud was already looked like he was already done. A lot of the players were done, and he literally brought the French nation and the team back to life.
Yeah.
Just with the penalty, sure. And you've seen it already with Harry Kane. He missed a second pen. It's a lot of pressure. And he went the same way all 3 times.
Yeah.
And was not shooked by it.
okay, so what would have been better for then in this situation? Another question: Messi scores a hat trick, but Mbappe wins a World Cup. What's gonna be bigger in the media?
No, but like, that's different because
How is that different?
You think because this is better for Mbappe specifically. 'Cause
World Cup is not better for
But
Mbappe.
Messi specifically needs this. You know,
He
this is
needs
the
the World
only
Cup.
thing he
I think
doesn't have.
Mbappe needed this too.
Nah,
He
he
won
won one already.
He didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you're
Dave.
talking about being one of the greatest in the world. Pele, you have to put yourself
I'm
in that
talking about for
category.
his brand
For
on a
brand.
global scale.
The,
2 World Cups?
No.
Nah.
The 3
You wouldn't
goals.
take
The
2
3
World Cups
goals.
over a hat trick in a final.
The hat trick in the final and
That's
the loss did more for his brand than
Nah.
him doing nothing in the final and winning 2 World Cups. Because guess what? Half that squad now has 2 World Cups, and he's just like the rest of them. But him stepping up and carrying his team despite the loss, like Jay said, now casuals know who he is. I was walking through the path today.
Is he gonna win another one? Would he ever?
Why not?
He's very likely to win one.
so what?
Yes. So-
Exactly. But
It's not a
there's a
big
lot of
loss
things
for him.
that go into that. For him to win that World Cup, he would have 2 at this age.
Yeah, but if he
People
did
will
not,
not
if,
remember
if he
a
did nothing,
hat-trick.
if he did nothing in that final and they won the World Cup,
They're still gonna remember him for those 2 World Cups.
A lot of people
fans
have
will.
that.
yeah, Griezmann and Coleman and Varane and Giroud. And
I'm pretty sure a
the
lot
whole
of people
team. Yori.
when Pele was playing have 2 or 3 World Cups, but they remember Pele.
Who?
Because he was the man. I'm just asking.
No,
Yeah,
people
maybe
know.
maybe like Italian, like 34, 38, the Italy, but
Yeah.
no one knows those guys.
But you're talking about Pele and Mbappe. For Mbappe to be even close to the Pele level, he has to win World Cups. No, that's why you think. That's why Messi is not the greatest, because he has only 1 World Cup. No,
Yeah.
he's the best, but he's not the greatest.
Yeah. But
For Mbappe's legacy,
but
for
Pele
his
scored
career-
goals in those finals.
Okay, just because he didn't score, you're saying like Mbappe didn't do nothing in this World Cup.
No,
mean-
I'm giving the scenario. If he did do nothing in that final.
If he did do nothing, it's still though he has 2 World
Wait,
Cups.
finish what you were saying though about the path.
Yeah, and I was walking through the path today on my way from work, and walking through the financial district, and there's 3 middle-aged women behind me talking about the World Cup, and one of them's like, "Oh wow, that young guy in France, Mbappe, like he was incredible." And like I heard that, I was like, "Holy shit!" Like this is like just something like that alone, where like people that have no clue what's going on in soccer are now recognizing him as like a household name.
100%.
And a performance like that is going to put him on the map, not just for a soccer fan like we are. We know all about Mbappe, and in our minds, yes, a second World Cup at that age is insane. But for a casual who has no
not
idea,
insane, it's
or for a casual who is watching that game for the first time,
Yeah.
now Mbappe is that guy. He's going to be the household name over someone like Ronaldo. He's going to be a household name over someone like Messi because he's not that guy. Now that these other guys aren't going to be playing anymore, they're not going to be as prominent. And Mbappe's not going to be that guy. And a performance like that just puts him on the map in terms of, growing your brand to a global scale. Like, you know what I mean? Like Cristiano Ronaldo has one of the biggest, brands and biggest household names in football. He's never won a World Cup.
That's why he's not compared to the greatest.
He is
A lot
still
of people
compared
do.
to the
What are you
greatest.
talking about?
Not to Pele.
Oh my god! So now you
World
think
Cups.
Pele's the greatest? I thought you had Messi as a GOAT.
Well, a lot of people say Pele's the greatest because
who's your
World Cups
GOAT?
in general. All I know is Mbappe having 2 World Cups, in my opinion, I would be like, this is next level.
As a football fan.
This is next level.
But
Yeah.
as a casual,
Okay. But
What's
what?
a casual
Okay.
gonna do in
Okay.
10 years?
But
They probably won't even know what his name after.
Okay, but
Now they became football fans because of yesterday.
What?
Maybe now PSG has huge following now because all the Americans probably watch
What means more to like Bill from Indiana? What?
Who cares about Bill in Indiana?
You're growing the global game. Someone that never watched it before. What catches him more? Watching this guy take over a game and score 3 goals, and maybe the first game he's ever watching, or seeing a team win, but he didn't make an impact in the game. So how did he notice him? He wouldn't know he has 2 World Cups. He never watched the sport before.
it's fair.
It's a good point, for sure.
And
But I just
after like
think
a performance like that, he turned that final into Argentina versus Mbappe. It wasn't France versus because anybody who knows that final hears about Mbappe first because nobody's scoring a
they
hat
think
trick
of
in a World Cup
Messi
final.
first. They think
Like
of
a casual-
Messi
like a
first. in that
casual
World
fan?
Cup.
But
A
Messi,
casual
You're saying
fan?
Messi's not the first. 2022 World Cup.
Yeah.
What's your first thing in your head?
Messi, I know that
Exactly.
But if you're
Mbappe, this guy said.
people know Messi.
But Messi's
People
the
don't
second,
know, but people
Mbappe's
don't
the
know
second.
Mbappe. If you're the second to Messi, that's saying something.
But you're the second.
To Messi,
Exactly.
who's bigger than Messi?
Pele. Right?
Is he though?
A lot of people say Pele.
I don't know.
Okay,
of
but if
people
you're
say
talking
Pele.
this generation,
And what's better for his legacy? Mbappe's having 2 World Cups at such a young age.
yeah, for his legacy maybe, but I'm talking about his brand on a global scale.
I still think it's that.
Just think about the fact that he
Still
was
think
tied
it's
in
2
goals with
World Cups,
Messi in
man.
this final.
Yeah.
And people call him Messi the GOAT. A kid who's 24 tomorrow is being known as, he just scored 3 goals in the finals. And now he's a top goal scorer.
What is better
Right.
for Mbappe's branding? You say he doesn't add. Look at Pele. He was the man back then. What's better for Mbappe? Him holding 2 World Cups, or him holding 1 World Cup and then saying I scored 3 goals in the final?
No, that's great for his footballing resume. But no, answer
branding.
no,
His
but
branding
no,
is
but
better
answer
to have
this.
2 World Cups.
Answer this simple question. Let's say the final score was France 2-0, and Teo Hernandez and Giroud scored. Would Mbappe have gained 20 million followers overnight?
I think so.
No.
I think so.
He wouldn't.
No.
He wouldn't.
No.
He would have
Maybe not that much, but he would have gained some
No.
100%.
Maybe he would have gained some. Yeah,
Probably
don't
10
get me wrong.
million.
He'll
Probably half
gain
of that.
some, but
One of the youngest.
Exactly,
players
half
to-
of that. Not even the whole
One of the
thing.
youngest players to win 2 World
yeah,
Cups
but
at that age.
if Mbappe went out and had a Dembele performance, he stunk it up.
He's still playing 90 minutes.
But let's say he went out and stunk it up. Is that going to do good or bad for? Even though he wins the World Cup, he goes out, he stinks it up. They still win the World Cup, but he doesn't play a factor in it. That's going to harm his legacy, if anything. Oh, France carried Mbappe to the World Cup.
I don't think so.
Well,
France carried Mbappe to the World Cup.
he didn't score in the last 2 games came all the way over here for.
But he had a good tournament.
Mbappe couldn't do it in the knockout. Mbappe couldn't do it in the knockout
He was the
stages.
second most goals.
But
He couldn't do it in the knockout
I
stages.
don't understand. I still don't understand how you could still rate. I don't understand how you still
couldn't
rate.
do it.
I don't
Ronaldo
understand
couldn't do
how
it.
you still rate a player just because he scores goals. If he just played like shit and you say he still had the best tournament, I don't understand.
What do you mean?
You say, Mbappe still had a good tournament. He scored 5 goals. They were on the group stage.
Okay.
Okay, so how can you say, if Mbappe stunk, not stunk, but he did poorly against England, did
Still a
nothing
second-
against Morocco,
and
and if
he-
he did nothing in the finals, how can you say he still had a good
And
tournament?
he was still the second top goal scorer in the whole tournament.
yeah,
And he has a World Cup.
yes, I understand that, but you can't say he had a great tournament.
I could say
He wasn't needed when he was needed the most in
I'd say
the
he had a
knockout
great tournament.
stages.
100% he had a great tournament. If he won the World Cup and scored 0 goals in those 2 games.
You're still the only one arguing his argument besides all of us.
I don't know. I think a lot of people would be on my side. For his branding, 2 World Cups would make Mbappe bigger.
Nope.
I don't know.
Because he's known now in the 21st century, 20 whatever century, how many centuries you want to go from now, as that kid who literally brought France back to a World Cup.
To a loss.
No, not to, you can't. Okay, to a loss, obviously, eventually, but like he literally came them from second. They're coming into that halftime in less than 2 minutes. He scored 2 goals.
He took over the game, and at the end of the day, they lost the game. But it wasn't on his accord.
Very recent for like this recently, like right now. Yes, it probably is a bigger thing for him, scoring three goals, because a lot of people, oh wow, this guy scored 3 goals because everyone's watching. But in the future, it's gonna be so much bigger for him to have that World Cup.
Okay, but what if he coasted to this World Cup, and then let's say he coasted to this World Cup. Let's say he won the World Cup again, didn't play a major factor. 2026 they don't win.
Factor in this World Cup.
2026 they don't win.
You can't say that he didn't play a major factor in this World Cup.
If he scored 5 goals in the group stage and didn't score anything in the knockout, then everyone's going to be harping on him. He couldn't do it in the big stage.
Messi couldn't do it the World Cup that he lost,
and that's all you heard about for how many years?
Messi, Ronaldo, no knockout goals.
You know how many times I heard people say
that?
He
went to the finals. If Messi won that World Cup, he didn't score. People wouldn't be talking about him winning that World Cup.
He won it, but not because of him.
If Messi won that World Cup in 2018,
but
that was his
score
first World Cup.
Huh?
First World Cup.
Okay, and a young guy winning 2 World Cups at that
you're
age.
talking like Mbappe doesn't have a World Cup.
If Mbappe didn't have a World Cup, it would be more important for him to win a World Cup. But the fact that he has a World Cup, and the fact that it's the same core of players, if he goes out there and does nothing in that game, but they still win, it's more about France than it is about Mbappe. If they lose the game in the fashion that they did, it becomes more about Mbappe and less about France.
I think it's still Mbappe, man. I don't know. I don't know how you guys can compare a hat trick to a World Cup.
We're not comparing the two
for his branding.
But it's Messi's first World Cup. It's because it's the stakes. Let's say it wasn't Messi who won the World Cup. Let's say it was whoever else won the World Cup. Germany won the World Cup. Mbappe losing and still getting these 3 goals is still probably be a bigger topic than Morocco, say, winning the World Cup. Not Morocco. No. Morocco's first time. Germany getting their 5th World Cup. But since it's Messi getting his World Cup that he needed, obviously it's like the biggest topic in the world right now. But what Mbappe did in that finals was still like, it's still like you would never expect it. Ever.
100%. It's a good stat to have. He scored a hat trick, of course. Good for him. But like, it's not like he doesn't score goals.
Oh my god. Okay, so it's easy to go score a hat trick in the finals.
No, but it's a lot harder to win a World Cup.
He's won one already,
and it's a lot harder to have 2. Exactly.
But he can win one.
How many players have 2 World Cups?
He can go win another one.
But there's so many variables to go into that.
Okay, there was a lot of variables for Messi to win this World Cup.
Exactly, and he won.
There's variables for everything. He can break a leg tomorrow and never play football ever again. But
what would have been better?
But he still.
What would have been better if he broke his leg
he still ended his career with a World Cup as a winner. That's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know.
You don't know because we're all saying we all think so.
I think it's better that he would have won 2 World Cups than him scoring.
Better for his brand or his career.
Both.
I don't know. Not for brand. No.
Maybe very recent. Right now, like very right now.
No, because global appeal. You don't lose global appeal. It only gets bigger.
Unless you do
people are not going to remember his hat trick.
Yeah,
they're going to remember his name, but not his hat trick.
Career-wise, yes. Obviously, it's better to have a 2nd World Cup, a 3rd World Cup. But what he did yesterday, the global appeal he got from that will last him like a lifetime. And if he did nothing in that final and won, he wouldn't have that same global appeal.
I think it would. It wouldn't have been maybe that big, but still, he would. I don't know. Agree to disagree. Let us know in the comments.
Okay. Some other storylines from that match. We saw 2 French players get axed at what? Minute 35, minute 40? Yeah.
35th-ish.
What was your guys' reaction to seeing that in live time?
Some would say the most talented player in the world, and Dembele.
Yeah.
Getting subbed off early. And honestly, not saying he is a poor player, is a bad player, but he didn't have a great World Cup.
No.
For a team that went all the way to the finals, he wasn't a key factor in that nation in any point, really, to be honest. Did he get any assists?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Maybe one.
I think one, maybe.
But it's not like, Dembele changed the game this one time when Mbappe couldn't. You know? Like in the finals, for example, if Mbappe couldn't come in, Dembele was carrying the other side because they shut down Mbappe quick. But no, as soon as Coman came on, you realize like Coman was just changed things up.
Yeah.
Even having whoever was in the midfield, he dropped one player in the midfield. Like that, just seeing that, like, okay, France are back in it now because these players, like, they know, like, we did it early subs, like nothing that never happens. And like now I'm on the pitch now, I need to change shit. Like they went out to do it.
Yeah.
Tudam too, like, you know, he's not a big topic of discussion when it comes to like quality players out there right now. But him coming on and like, you know, doing different than what Giroud couldn't do was really big for France. And honestly, that helped Mbappe wake up, if anything. Maybe he wasn't, you know, maybe wake the defenders a little bit more. You know what? They brought something new. Can't focus on Mbappe too much. Let him play a little free. And then same time, first goal goes in. Scaloni makes some changes, and then they get their shit mixed up too.
Yeah.
You know, it's smart for Deschamps to do those switches early in the game because, man, a little too late. Like same thing with Portugal, for example, bringing them all the way in really late those games when you're losing against Morocco. Mm-hmm. You got if you know you're losing the game early on, and they were losing the game early on. From the very beginning, we saw
they weren't creating anything.
From the very beginning, we saw like Argentina are like all over them.
Yeah.
This isn't the France team we saw playing this whole World Cup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And this French team is scary, but they were doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I think that Giroud offers you two things: good ball passes, and good like
aerial threat. Yeah,
aerial threat. That game was not set up for that, and I think Deschamps had a master class to like a very good coach. You know, tactical way of having that game. His subs were amazing. Yeah. To know that in the 35th minute, a lot of coaches would have waited to the halftime.
Yeah, I don't want to waste my subs.
I don't want to waste my subs.
Let's ride it out. Maybe we'll create something.
Exactly.
But
Maybe halftime I'll get in subs, but he knew this is already too much. Like at 35th minute, I can't have this up top.
And no one could really watch that game. Like honestly, it's football. We're gonna watch it, but it was hard to watch that game as like a neutral too. Like honestly, you want to see a good game.
Yeah.
But the looks of that French team was just not there to play.
Giroud was nowhere to be found. Dembele was being stopped. For him to bring on Thuram and Colomwani was a baller.
He was probably like honestly.
Oh yeah, it was Colomwani who came on first, right?
A nice
Other than
move,
Mbappe, I think Colomwani was like the second best player for France because when he came on, like. Anytime he got the ball, he drove at defenders. He made things happen. Won a penalty. You know, had that great chance that Martinez saved. But even that chance itself, like,
was something. Was
realistically speaking, like, there's nothing Colomwani could have done better. He hit that hard. He hit it low. It was a good strike. Like, you can't really do anything different. It was just a great save. Like, you know, but he, came on. I think he, rose a lot of eyebrows with that performance.
It's true because you saw this Argentine team and they did it every single game. Those players are not slowing down.
Yeah.
Alistair, again, one of his best performances ever. Like, I didn't know who he was before this. You know what I mean? DePaul, too. Like, everyone thought this guy was washed. Like, why is he playing, like, top football? Why is he playing Champions League football? The guy is being, like, ex from his, club team, too.
But he proved a lot of people wrong with that performance.
He literally did not stop. And that's what the thing that maybe France didn't realize going into this game, that their pressure is going to be really high at the very start, and they were not slowing down at all. And they were losing the ball a lot in the midfield.
Yeah.
Rabiot and Tchouaméni were not be able to do it because you have Rabiot and Tchouaméni, and you have four attackers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As soon as Colomwani came in, he was supporting the midfield a little bit more, creating more options out wide for the other players, but he did change the game. Yeah. And even bringing on the other subs, like we thought Theo coming off, Camavinga, playing like a left back, more like central role sometimes we're moving forward. But he was a big part of that.
Filled that gap.
He was part of that big like recovery too of the football.
Yeah. He helped the midfield a lot. I think he was playing a little bit more inverted, so I think they really helped just balance the midfield. Because Theo, he's not supporting midfield; he's making an overlapping run and going down the line. But if you have, Mbappe there, you don't necessarily need that double threat down the left wing. Like you can let Mbappe do his thing. You kind of need that support more in the midfield in case you get countered, right?
But what was better when Mbappe was striker? No.
He just played striker.
He wasn't really.
He played like left.
He played striker, but he was still favoring his left. Like he was kind of drifting out to the left.
He does cut in a lot from his left.
That beautiful volley goal he scored was from the left.
Yeah.
And even that great bit of play, like in the 120th minute, where I thought this guy is about to do this. Like
he dribbled
when he isoed Montiel, he dribbled through a couple of players. Like that's where Mbappe does his thing. Like on that left wing, he cuts in, he can take players on,
but I think that freedom to move interchange with Thuram was key.
Yeah, because Thuram would cover to the left.
Thuram would go to the left, and Mane, you're not going to see Giroud go to the left ever.
Or if he does, he won't be very effective.
Yes,
right?
You know what I mean.
You need more movement from a striker like that, especially in these roles, because defenders are playing tight defensive work. Once you have one guy just sitting in the top of the box or inside the box like that, you're literally
the center backs know.
You're taking the space away from a player like Mbappe who needs the space to run and drive into chances.
Yeah.
The biggest factor for I think France's loss was their defense. as much as they had great moments in the final ends of the games, Upamecano stopping like 2 open chances. They had a lot of mistakes, and again, it comes with the pressure that Argentina was giving them.
Yeah,
they're going high. Kunde was making some mistakes too. He wasn't really
making him look like an idiot, man.
He didn't look comfortable at all.
No,
not at all.
Honestly,
he's not a right back. He's not a right back, Kunde. He's not. He could play it, but that's not where he excels. And I think Varane starting was another big issue. I think
he didn't look that strong. He was also maybe still had his illness or whatever. But yeah, the defense really, as well as they played, they were still the one shaky part of the French national team.
In live time, I thought the subs were blasphemous. I thought, like, you're conceding this game already? Like, it's minute 35. Obviously, in hindsight, yes, it looks much better. The subs were great. It worked out. But in live time, I thought it was crazy. I thought they were throwing the game. Like, you're taking out the top scorer in your country's history, and Dembele, a guy who penetrates the defense at every time. So I thought it was blasphemous. I thought it was clear match fixing. But
you were early in the game thinking it was.
I did because like I've never seen that before.
But they didn't do anything.
I know they did nothing. But like 9 out of 10 times, the coach rides with their guys.
100%.
So like it was just something I'd never seen before in a World Cup final. That's embarrassing for those players.
Yeah, I know it is. 100%.
Like Dembele had to turn off his Instagram comments. Even Kolo Muani had to turn off his Instagram comments. Chouameni
After the game?
Yeah.
Coleman too.
Yeah, there were a
lot of
racial remarks, which is tough.
It's ridiculous, man. They played really well. France played really well.
For them to come from a 2-0 down.
France played really
penalties.
Well. If France played like they did in the first half all game, then yes, like they deserved. Okay, they don't deserve it like that, but they deserve some chat and shit a little bit, but not that severe. But they changed the game. They woke up and you know what? Get it done.
Kudos to France. They did it well. Those subs, and I think they all performed at the end. They realized, we still have a game, and they went for it. But the better player won.
Did the better team win on the night?
It's hard. It's hard. The game, when the game goes down to penalties, okay, it's different though. Because a team can still play really well and still just be unlucky and go to penalties and lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think both teams played really well. As much as Argentina supported Messi where Messi was needed, I think France team did support Mbappe when it was needed. And as much as they played really poorly in the first half, they still changed the game. They still brought an exciting game for us. And at the end of the day, they still had an equal chance of winning it as much as Argentina did. Paying down the penalties, I think they both deserved it.
For the fact that the first shot for France was that Mbappe penalty, that right there tells me Argentina had a better game, better, tactics, and they wanted it more. I think France definitely had a better stint in football in that game, but throughout the whole game, you're talking about 90 minutes and extra time and penalties. The whole game, I think Argentina had a better game. They played for Messi. They played for that badge. They wanted it more. Wanted it more. That's what it was.
I guess.
The quality of the France players. That's what you saw at the end. The quality of the French players. But I think throughout the whole game, Argentina had a better game for sure.
I mean, at 2-0, I think most people thought the game was done.
Yeah, right.
So that shows you that Argentina was controlling it. They were the better team. So I think, at the end of the day, the better team did win. They may have got unlucky in how they won.
Yeah.
France's moments, man.
Moments FC.
And it's moments of greatness.
It is.
Especially when Mbappe is doing madness like that. But over the course of the whole game, Argentina was the better team for most of the time, I think.
Yeah. 100%. What do you think, Jay?
Like I said in the story that dropped before we started recording, Argentina deserved to win. For that first 60 minutes, they were formidable, sorry. They couldn't be stopped. And I mean, even with France's pressure tying the game, they still rebounded. Like that third goal, that passing play was nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
Holy.
it was so fast paced, and the fact that they were able to link up like that and then remain onside was like pretty remarkable.
And for him to hit it on the one.
Yeah. And Lautaro hit Lloris in the face with that shot. and Laurie couldn't do anything about that. I hit him in the face.
Yeah.
You can't parry that. So, and Koundé tried to save it, but his momentum took him inside the net. So it was hard.
Yeah.
But no, as soon as it went to penalties, I knew Argentina would win. Because France did not have any shooters I believed in besides Mbappe.
Facts.
Too young, too inexperienced. Yeah, like I didn't believe any of them would score except Mbappe. Colomwani did. He took a good pen.
Yeah.
It was powerful down the middle. But Argentina, they just know how to take pens. And they did it already in the tournament, and they deserve to win.
Yeah. I have one question. Now, there's a lot of speculation what happened with Benzema, him not coming back. Some players having issues with him, supposedly Griezmann and Yori not wanting him back, and we're happy that he didn't come back. Do you think he would have made a difference? If he was, I don't know if he would be 100%, but close to it, would he have been a better fit for this France team than Giroud? Obviously, Giroud got left the game 35 minutes. Do you think Benzema would have been better? Better fit for this game?
For this game? I mean, potentially for this game, you can make an argument just because obviously, like, Benzema as an overall player he gives you something different. Like, it's a different play style. But I think for the tournament, I think, France did well. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, they were definitely, like, probably one of the best teams in the tournament. And making it to the finals, I don't really think you can do much better than they did with Giroud. And I think, just the understanding that Giroud and Mbappe have, Griezmann and Giroud have a great understanding of each other as well. I think it's tough to replicate that. And I think, while maybe Benzema would have done better in this particular game against Argentina in terms of how he played, I don't think they would have made it this far if they had Benzema the whole tournament.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
One thing I think what Benzema would have brought to the team is more of a playmaker.
But you got
creator.
Griezmann for that, though.
But did we have Griezmann in the final game? No.
He got played out.
He got played out.
Yeah.
He was another player who was gone. He was
because he had to help support the midfield because that midfield three of Argentina was relentless.
Exactly. But
they kept on going and going.
In that case, we could have had Benzema up top who would be feeding, a player like Dembele and maybe a player like Mbappe, like he does for Real Madrid. Vinny, yeah. Why does he get all those goals? Benzema's a big priority because of that. Yeah. So maybe if Benzema was there for the whole World Cup, maybe he wouldn't have got as many goals as Giroud. But then you might have maybe seen Dembele get a goal. Maybe Mbappe gets more goals. More of a team effort than, Giroud's the man who got all the goals. That's what I think. And I think he would have been a good fit for the finals.
It's hard. If you put in Giroud, if you put in Benzema in that squad, then you don't put a lot of players. You get rid of Griezmann. Griezmann's not like a key player because, again, the midfield is still weak. Yeah. You still need to put another midfield. I don't think Benzema would have been the solution if they were still playing the same style of football they were playing today, and you were just replacing Giroud. Because the what was wrong was the midfield.
Yeah,
Giroud was a big part of it because he wasn't as mobile, but I don't think Benzema gives you as much mobility more than Giroud gives you. They brought in Thuram because Thuram can swap a little bit more with Mbappe. They brought in Colomwani because you can support midfield a bit more. They kept Griezmann because he can still create a little bit of something in the midfield, but if you just swapped Giroud and Benzema this one game, it still wouldn't have helped the game. They still needed to make some switches because you still needed the support in the midfield. You still needed something to kind of give Mbappe some more freedom to kind of bring some other options going into the midfield, into the center of the box and whatnot. Because again, Benzema, he'll give you some options, pulling some defenders away, giving you some wall passes. But
it's a lot.
As much as he gets that ball, he's still going to be pressed really high as much as Giroud was. And he probably wouldn't have given as much freedom as Giroud was because Giroud was invisible the first half.
Giroud doesn't move off the ball. Like he's very centralized. I think Benzema would have given Mbappe more space.
I think in the final specifically, Benzema would have helped just because, like you said, he's a lot more mobile than Giroud.
Yeah.
So like he can like
bring a defender with him.
He can bring the defender with him. He can spread the team out. He can make runs in behind and have that fear that he might get it in behind. Giroud, he's not that guy.
No.
Right. He's post up. He'll
just have one man on him.
Right. Exactly. He's not a threat going in behind, but Benzema brings that.
Yeah.
Right. You make a run in behind, even if he doesn't get it, the team's tracking it. Right. It makes space for other people. Mm-hmm. So in that final specifically, I think maybe, but I was always a firm believer that Giroud for the France team in general is better for the squad. So like for the rest of the tournament, having Giroud was the correct choice because he brings the most out of the other players, in my opinion. But
I
for,
agree with that.
But like for that one game, for the one-off for that one game, I'd say
How am I
maybe
waffling?
Benzema.
Because you always said Benzema better than Giroud. He should have been playing. Benzema should have been playing.
No, I think Benzema would be the first player off that bench, in my opinion.
But it wanted to change the tournament.
He would have changed the
They
tournament.
wanted
Off
to
the
change the
bench.
tournament. If Benzema was on the field or Giroud was on the field, okay, they sure they both would have been in the finals. But when it came down to the finals and how they played France, I don't think Benzema would have made a big change to the squad.
He would have done a lot better than Giroud in the finals.
Maybe a little bit better, but would that a little bit better? Would that a little bit better would have made maybe the Deschamps think to take the striker off? Would he have taken up Benzema off that early
fact
to the
that
game
Giroud
because it's
came off-
Benzema? Because it's Benzema, Benzema is Ballon d'Or winner.
Giroud
Maybe
did
he's
it-
just not having his game, but maybe he can pick it up.
Attitude.
Yeah. That's probably why too. Deschamps knew, okay, Giroud just isn't the man right now. And Giroud probably understands more. Like, yeah, this isn't maybe for me. I'm as much upset as he was. Probably was upset more because of the result of the score at the moment. But I don't
Giroud
think.
did a
I don't
really
think.
good game that game.
Yeah, but if Benzema's having a poor game, you think Deschamps taking him off that early? I don't think so.
Of course not, because Benzema can offer you more than just going up
If
top.
they're still losing 2-0 and realize that maybe Benzema isn't the right pick,
But Benzema offers you more. He can
not
he
as
can
much
be
as
on
what,
the ball.
not as much as what the subs really came down
Benzema
to.
can be on the ball.
Can
and
Benzema
pass.
swap with Mbappe and go play left wing?
But he knows how to feed him. Giroud can't do that.
Mbappe wasn't able to create much on the wing. That's why they put in head Thuram and up top and swap a little bit him a little bit.
I don't think if Benzema's playing here, taking him off at the 35th mark.
You're not,
35th,
but that's
35th
why,
mark.
but that changes what changed the game for that French team.
A lot can change the game, but that finals, Benzema for me.
I think. Look, we saw some leaks today from Romain Molina. France's two captains don't like Benzema and are happy he wasn't on the team. So him just being there would completely damp the squad morale because nobody likes him. And one of the reasons they got to the final, like, they have a good, happy camaraderie in the squad. You could tell. They're all boys. They all enjoy playing with each other. And Benzema not being in this squad for the past, 6 years, it was good for the morale. Because, yes, he is a locker room disturbance. When the two captains don't like him, and it's guys like Laurie and Griezmann who are, I guess, respected, as footballers, right? Then clearly there's a problem with Benzema being in that squad. The coach doesn't like him. We already know that. Deschamps cannot give a damn about him. So him being there, it could have made things worse. Quality-wise, yes, he would have made a difference in the final because he just won the Ballon d'Or. He's the best player in the world, right? But I don't know. Tournament-wise, I don't think they'd be in the final if he was there.
Damn.
Yeah, because Giroud brings together like you said in your analysis, top analysis.
Yeah.
He makes his teammates better. He's kind of like a system player. He's like a Draymond Green kind of.
Yeah.
He just elevates the system and he's the glue. He's a glue guy, right? So Benzema's not a glue guy. It's that simple.
I agree with you.
He's a top player,
Glue guy.
top goal scorer, but maybe for Madrid he's a glue guy.
Yeah.
But at least for France, yeah, he just brings problems, which sucks because I like him. I think he's a top player, but he just brings problems.
I like that.
I don't know. But I don't know. I think France did everything they could. They had a great tournament. They beat all their rivals without going into penalties. They had a great tournament. It was just unfortunate, honestly. And like David said, yeah, sure, maybe Argentina did go out, everything out because, the players want this, I think, more for Messi than for themselves. Because, end of the game, you saw them, you deserved. A lot of players were telling Messi, even I think Emi Martinez were telling him, you deserved this. You deserved it. Someone told him, you deserved this. You needed this. This was for you.
Yeah,
And you always see it in the locker rooms. They're saying, "Oh, this is for Messi. This is for Messi." As much as the post game, all their banter, they were going and saying, "Sure, maybe some players they didn't deserve because they were just being rude or assholes or whatnot."
Yeah.
But and yeah, Messi did deserve it. Yeah, Argentina went out there and played their game 120%.
Yeah. They left it all on the field.
And France just maybe, they thought some of the players that already had the World Cup probably were we can do this for sure. They probably were in the right mindset to, let's go out there and get our first one kind of thing. The other half of the team were we want this.
Yeah.
But it didn't show they were in it together to go get this trophy.
They weren't hungry. They
weren't
didn't
hungry
have
for
that dog in them until Kolomwani and Thuram came on And even when Coleman came on, like they were playing with more intensity.
Yeah.
Then Mbappe kind of switched it up, and then Mbappe had that dog in him for the rest of the game.
Maybe, yeah.
But I think a lot of it was the midfield. They just didn't seem to have that same hunger that Argentina midfield. I think that Argentina midfield was really the unsung hero of the game because the three of them, DePaul, Fernandez, and McAllister, they were absolutely pressing every ball. They were linking up and 1-2ing, and DePaul was getting fouled. Like literally every time he got the ball, you heard him screaming, but he was doing his thing. And you know what I mean? For all the, the slander he gets, he went out and he was one of the most important players in the field. Mm-hmm. He left it all out there, and he would have died for that badge. He would have died for Messi in that game, and you can see that he played with his heart. And I think that was something the French players, it seemed like they kind of lacked that, a little bit.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Do you think with this, like the way Mbappe played in this final, that Real Madrid are going to try to go get from him again? Or do you think it was already on the radar before the World Cup? Or how he was performing before the finals?
I think Perez is a man of his word, and he slammed the door on Mbappe. Because Mbappe disrespected him.
And you can't disrespect Madrid, in my opinion. You can't do something at that caliber and then have them want you again. No, I don't think he's going to Madrid.
It'll be tough because I think obviously as much as, let's say, Madrid do want him, PSG won't let him go.
Yeah, it's going to be like almost like it's literally going to have to be like his contract's going to have to be
terminated,
like run out, and like it's going to be tough because PSG have all the funds in the world to keep him happy. They can bring literally pretty much any player Mbappe ever would want to play with. They can give him pretty much anything he wants, and it's like, if he can get that Champions League form, then he can really maybe become, that guy for Paris, and really be like probably like the biggest thing that's ever happened to French football if he's not already, right? I think he can very clearly be that, right? If he's doing it both domestically in the league with Paris and elevating the league, but then also with the national team, I think that maybe is what he's going to do.
That's just his career. That's just his path.
His calling.
A second World Cup would have been nice, though.
Yeah.
Right?
He's still got time.
Did you guys like their picks for like the trophies they gave away at the end of the game? For Golden Boot, obviously, Mbappe scored 7 goals.
Yeah, he can't dispute that.
Keeper of the tournament, young player of the tournament, and sure, I guess player of the tournament was Messi, which I think is undoubtedly the right decision.
Yeah.
Unless you guys have other options. But did you guys think the Golden Glove and the Young Player of the Tournament were the right picks? Because I heard other shouts.
I think you definitely could have made other shouts for, Player of the Tournament. I think not a lot of people would have been mad if you gave that to Mbappe as well because, he did his thing. But I think it was well deserved with Messi. I think with the Golden Glove, I think it was only going to be 3 keepers. It was either going to be
him, Bono,
or Livakovic. But I think, Martinez, like, he did those things that the other keepers did in terms of, winning his team shootouts and making those huge saves, but he did it all the way up to the finals and made that huge save. I think like him making that huge save, if it wasn't already decided, that won it for him.
Yeah.
And then I think Fernandez was a kind of a very like under the radar choice because like he kind of did his thing all tournament. He scored that 1 goal, but he like, he did his thing. Not a lot of people were talking about him, but he wasn't like, being very flashy. He went out there, he did his business, and he won his team games, and I can't argue that. Right?
I didn't see anyone have shouts for Fernandez.
I did early in the tournament. That was my prediction.
That was Dan's pick. Yeah,
and I think we were all a little baffled that he got it.
But I think I think he got it right. He wasn't a starter.
Really could
he wasn't a starter. He wasn't a starter for Argentina.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Paredes did his shit, and then I think Enzo came as a substitute.
He scored
and did better.
He scored that goal.
So Scaloni was just like, you know what, like he's playing better than Paredes, and why not give this kid the opportunity to like shine a little bit, get his big move if he does start playing well, which I think he was playing well, better than Paredes in general, and again he had that goal, 2 big. I think was it 1 goal and an assist that game.
Yeah,
and then he was just fighting as hard as any other midfielder was that whole tournament.
Yeah. So someone like Gakpo or like someone like Bellingham didn't have a chance on that? Do you think because he made the finals that put a lot of weight on it?
Yes, because he had that bigger show.
Yeah, you played more games.
He played more games. He had obviously more eyes on him. But
that's his team too.
But if
that's his team. I think Gakpo was the biggest thing with Netherlands.
In the group stage.
Yes and no. In the group stage you did well, but in the round of 16 and
they lost.
They lost. Yeah. And it's like he didn't perform.
He didn't do anything against
Argentina.
But was he
who
not
did
more?
they face in the first round? USA.
USA didn't do anything against
Didn't
USA.
do anything USA, and then he didn't do anything against Argentina, right? It was white
Group
horse.
stage, he played well, but I think Fernandez. I think he showed the consistency.
How about Bellingham?
No.
Bellingham too. He scored that goal in the first game, but
He was crucial for England too.
and he played very well against. Who did they play in the? I'm drawing a blank. Senegal. He
Yeah.
played phenomenal against Senegal as well, but
Against
other than
France.
those 2 games, he didn't really, do too much. He was a great player, and I wouldn't have been upset if they gave it to him. I think he probably would have been the second best choice in my opinion, but I think it's tough to argue Fernandez because he did everything that Bellingham did, but he did it all the way to the final.
So does the finals give you the award then?
No, because he did it in the quarterfinals, he did it in the semifinals, and he did it in the finals.
That's what I'm saying. It's going to the finals give you
Yeah,
that award.
lucky enough for him that he's of
because
the age.
Bellingham
He was of
had
that
better
age.
games.
I
In
mean,
my opinion, Bellingham had better games until they got kicked out.
He did have some games where he took over, but I
Took
think
over.
at the same time, I don't think Bellingham's performances were, head and shoulders above Fernandez's to the point where he was undisputedly young player of the tournament, right? Like, let's say, for example, if Gakpo scored all those goals in the group stage, scored against the U.S., scored a goal against
And he got
Argentina,
kicked out.
but they got kicked out, and he finished the tournament with 6 goals,
Maybe.
then maybe, he's sniffing around that young player of the tournament. But, when you get lost in the crowd of players who scored 3 or 4 goals of the tournament with, 4 or 5 other guys, you can get lost in the shuffle. And I think Fernandez had that consistency where he, played at a high level and he won his team the trophy. But
It's also so much
helps, right?
It's also easier and a better show for FIFA
if the player's there.
if the players are there
Of course, that's why.
to accept the award after the game. They're already there, and it's a better show. Like if there's just one award winner on the
and
podium,
there's a picture of the other guy.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's
Is it not fair?
maybe not, but it's just how it is. I wouldn't say it's undeserved that those guys won.
No.
But yeah, they made it to the final. They won. They were there. They got the award, and they were there to accept it. And it's a good show.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
World Cup is done. I have one question for you guys. What was if you think of anything about this World Cup, what was the most outstanding or the first thing that comes to your mind about this World Cup? The whole entire World Cup. What would be the first thing you think of, or what would be
The first thing we talked about, Mbappe's 3 goals in the finals. Honestly,
Not for me.
Honestly, I'll always remember the 2022 World Cup. Okay, yeah, with Messi winning his first, but with the performance that Mbappe had in the finals. Besides Messi winning the World Cup, that's obviously the biggest thing because Messi won the World Cup.
Yeah.
But if it's performance and what this besides Messi winning is legit Mbappe's final game.
Mbappe had the best performance of the tournament in the final. And I think if you're, like Dan said, if you're looking at 2022 World Cup is always going to be about Messi because it was his. He finally won his World Cup. He brought greatness, completed football. But if you're looking from a performance standpoint, it's that Mbappe, it's the hat trick. But I think for me, it's that second goal.
Oh yeah.
Like if France went on to win that game, that second goal would have been iconic. Like,
Yeah, I think what
iconic.
that impact of that goal and how he did it and what it meant is
Huge.
bigger than maybe Richarlison's goal with that beautiful kick he did. Because that tied a game and brought a game to the finals.
Yeah.
In the finals, I brought a game like that created a game.
Yeah, in my opinion, I'm not talking about a moment. I'm not talking about a goal. In my opinion, I'm talking about, for me, the biggest thing that this World Cup showed me is that don't sleep on these small teams. There's a lot of good talent on these teams, and you're realizing now, and I think in the future, you're going to start seeing more that these smaller teams like a Morocco, a team like Japan, a team, you've seen it before, like a team like Croatia. There's a lot of quality in these teams, and now you're going to start realizing that a Moroccan who can play for France thinks twice before he does that. Now you're going to see a lot of more players stay in those positions, in those countries where they were born from, or they have family from. That's what I got from this World Cup. Don't sleep on the small teams because they're starting to grow. Football in these countries are growing.
Don't sleep on Canada.
Don't sleep on Canada. Do not sleep on Canada.
But besides that, you always saw terms like those, underdogs.
Not like
running.
this.
Not like this, obviously, because Morocco.
This World Cup was nasty.
But no, yes and no. Morocco was a team for sure. Croatia did last year, but everyone also doubted them because they were in a group with Belgium. You know what I mean? But Croatia were still almost the same team as they were 4 years ago. but they still had one of the greatest midfielders of all time, Modric, to carry them there.
But still, they should have been. No one had them in that
Yeah,
position.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
No
for
one
sure.
had them
No one
in that
had him in that position, but like,
4 million people in that country, no one has them in that position.
hey, they were in
For
the
Japan
finals.
to beat a team like Spain, for them to beat, they tied Germany or they beat
They
Germany?
beat,
Germany.
they beat
They
Spain
beat
and
Germany. For a team like who else?
We've
Korea.
We've seen upsets like this before, though. We've seen
but we've seen so many,
Italy
but,
get
like,
knocked out first round.
we've
We've
seen
seen
so
France
many.
get knocked out. We've seen Germany get knocked out.
Yeah,
first
I
round.
Croatia beating Brazil was the biggest upset.
I think
Obviously, but
yeah.
at the same
There's
time,
so many upsets in this World Cup.
Croatia played better than not
You can't
better
say
than
this
Brazil,
World Cup
but I
hasn't
think
been the best
I think
because of that.
Croatia did deserve that game more than Brazil a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, of course. All these Morocco deserved to be in this position. Of course, I'm not saying that, but
end of the day, it's
you
part of
can't
the
say-
sport. You can't just say, "Oh,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
part of
I'm
the
saying
sport."
it's not a part of the
I
sport,
think
but
every
you
World
can't say
Cup
that
you
it's
have
not.
those one or two teams that like surprise.
But
you.
it's
Like,
not
you
one or two teams this World Cup.
It was
a lot of
one or two teams. It was literally one or two teams. It was either
Upsets?
Morocco or Croatia.
Upsets.
Not upsets,
Japan.
but there's upsets every World Cup.
World
though.
Cup.
Korea
I'm talking
wasn't
about
Korea
who
wasn't that
won.
much of an upset.
Huh?
Korea wasn't that much of an upset because they made it out of their group and then they got slapped.
Yeah,
I
and
think-
at the same time, like Portugal already through, and maybe they put their B team as well. Like they beat a B
Still
team.
shouldn't be losing that game.
Yeah,
They played a B
Spain
team.
shouldn't be losing that game.
France lost against
Germany
Tunisia.
shouldn't be out
I would
there.
say like if you're looking at underdog teams, like you're looking at Japan, you're looking at Croatia, you're looking at Morocco as teams that kind of maybe surprise you. Like Croatia, I don't think them as a nation surprised you because you know they have the talent, but a lot of people thought they were finished.
Yeah.
A lot of people thought they were too old and they didn't have it in them, but we clearly saw that they do. But I mean, if we're looking at Croatia as a nation, like you know, they probably have one of the without winning a World Cup, but probably one of the best, like most impressive, like World Cup, like runs. Like they've only been around since like what 1994
Croatia?
was their first World Cup.
98.
98 was
And they
their
came
first World
fourth
Cup.
place.
They came third place.
Third
was it?
place, yeah.
Third place, and then a semifinal 20 years later, and then 4 years later another third place. So it's like 3 podium finishes in like 20 years that they've been around, which is pretty impressive for a country that's under 4 million people.
But just like, but I guess you can compare to David's argument that football, a lot of people would always pick the favorites to win.
Yeah.
But it's true. Maybe if you're new to the sport, maybe you kind of like always want the favorite to win. But soccer's always been like that.
Underdogs.
Soccer's always been a sport where you can get it right from the tactical side of things to maybe the fitness side of things, and maybe just the player sometimes they want to play with, and they play with the heart. And it is, and most of the time, it is kind of a mental game where like some players kind of think they have it already in the bag. And as much as us when we play, right, sometimes you kind of play to your level, and you always see that some of these teams play to the level that they're playing coming up against. So when they come up against a team that's maybe poor and they maybe lose to one of these teams, it's happened before. We've seen it happen before, and that's something that we kind of need to remind ourselves a lot. Like it's not always about the favorites.
Yeah.
It's not always about the favorites.
That's what I took from this World Cup.
What are you?
I took like there were a lot of upsets. You are right. There were a lot of upsets.
That's crazy.
And it was exciting. Like you said, Croatia beating Brazil was one of the biggest upsets. It was. We were favorites to win. And they beat us in a very sad fashion. But it will be remembered, as a World Cup where the underdog prevailed like no other.
Exactly.
Coming fourth place from Africa, which has never been done.
Oh.
It'll be remembered as the World Cup that almost like a NBA bubble, right? No alcohol, like everything was kind of like locked in, like no distractions. It was strictly football, and it delivered.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful to see. I had a great time watching it. I don't know what else to say about it.
World
JP?
Cup 2020.
What are your thoughts,
2022.
JP?
Well, I mean, just underdog story, just a crazy World Cup in general. But like, I mean, if you're gonna take anything away from it, it's obviously got to be the final. Probably like one of the best games of all time. Just not even just in World Cup, just games in general.
Totally agree.
So it's just you always appreciate some beautiful footy. So yeah, I think the final and the underdog story, just the story of the Qatar World Cup
Yeah,
this year.
I think that final game was just the icing on top of the cake, because there was no other way you can end that World Cup, but that way. That was just, it had to happen like that. You know what I mean? It had to happen like that, and for Messi to win it, that's it. The GOAT.
I think something underrated that made this World Cup so good was the fact that it was in such a small country that the stadiums were so close together that you could go to multiple games at in a day. There wasn't a lot of travel for the players.
No.
Like, you weren't taking planes to your next game. You were taking a bus every time. A 30-minute bus ride to every game, right? So, and you compare that to the next World Cup, which is in 3 countries, 3 massive countries.
Yeah.
So, like, players are going to have to travel, like, 5 hours to their second group game, which is, like, which hurts.
Hopefully they do it, like, in hubs. They
Because
gotta be smart.
it is tough on the player, all the traveling.
Of course.
Like, and another thing with the fact that this World Cup was mid-season, a lot of people said, oh, like, it'd be tough, the players would be tired, this and that. But another way to look at it, these players were on form, ready to go, instead of taking a little, like, week, 2-week break, 3-week break to get ready for the World Cup. Like, they were on form, in mid-season form, literally, ready to go.
Probably the best form you could be in. Mid-season form. You know what I mean? It truly is how it is.
Yeah, people were playing days before the start of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like, it's crazy. Now they're going to go back.
Again, same thing with that, though. We did lose a lot of players because of the situation that we were playing in mid-season.
Yeah.
A lot of big players. And I'm not saying it would have changed that much of the final results.
You just the thing is, like, maybe if it's at the end of the season, maybe like if a player gets injured, he has more time to maybe make it back and recover. Whereas now, if you get injured in your second last game or your last game of the season, you're not making it back.
But it's not, in my opinion, it's not like, oh, because they went to the World Cup, oh, if they get in, like, they're gonna get injured. It's again, it's during a season. They could have got injured during the season too. It's not like you know, in going into a summer World Cup, or now they're gonna go in, now they're gonna get injured for the rest of the season. It's the same thing. Like, you're gonna be playing football. You're still playing football.
Yeah.
It's like, even if you weren't at the World Cup, you're playing football in the season, so you could still get injured. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if anything, for a summer World Cup, they're more tired after a grueling long season, like 9 months of football.
And then you have to go on top of that to play more.
Yeah. And more high-level football.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But do you guys like that whole, like, say, for example, 2026 in 3 countries? And aren't they going to do that going forward now? Don't they want to add, like, more countries to these World Cup, like, destinations?
Yeah, I think they want to do Morocco, Portugal, and Spain for 2030.
Which is honestly, like, sure, because it brings a lot more people to enjoy it more, because you get to people in
But those
different
countries are pretty close.
They're close, but it's still a lot of travel.
Yeah, it is, man.
It's still a lot of travel.
I think it's possible, but they need to do it right. Like, you can't have, let's say, Group A playing games in New York and LA. Like, it just doesn't make sense. You'd have to have, like, let's say, certain groups hubbed in different cities.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of travel between games, because then that could work. And then when it comes to, let's say, quarterfinals, semifinals, obviously there's some more time in between games. So maybe then you can have a round of 16 game in New York and a quarterfinal in Vancouver, because you're going to have, 3, 4, maybe 5 days potentially in between games. So you can have that travel time. But I think as long as it's planned well, obviously it's going to take more of a toll on players. They're not going to have as much time to rest. But I think with planning, it could be something that's interesting, because, a lot more people get to experience it.
Yeah.
Even then, but I don't think the fan experience of this World Cup could be topped.
No.
Because you could go to so many games
in a day.
like, while staying in your same hotel the whole time.
Yeah.
Well, you saw, like, people on Instagram, a lot of content creators were going to
Every game.
they're trying to beat a record or something to go to all the games. And they did. They went to all the games.
Well, it's not possible.
Was it possible?
No, it was. You couldn't. It's impossible to go to every single game.
But they went to majority.
You can't go to every game 90 minutes, but you could have went to every game.
Yeah, probably.
A couple people did.
I'm pretty sure a couple
Half
people
and half?
did. I'm pretty sure a couple people did.
No, on the last day of the group stage, like, they went for, like, let's say, like, 30 minutes of the first game, and then left to go see, like, the last 10 minutes of, like, the other game.
Technically, you still watched it,
Yeah, I guess.
right? But yeah, you'll never have this ever again. You know
Yeah,
what I
because
mean?
let's say this World Cup, to watch all those games, like, let's say it costs, like, whatever. Let's say this World Cup, a fan experience was $15,000. Let's say for, like, the next World Cup, where there's so much traveling, that's doubled.
No, 100%.
Right? So, like,
That's true.
the fan experience, like, you could, like, so many games, like, and you don't have to travel. You're already there. You just take a Uber or
Walk.
walk.
Yeah.
And even
or take the subway.
Even for players, like, to know that you can go back to the same hotel, same room,
Comfort.
it's comforting, and it gives you that comfort that, okay, I'm going back here. Going from place to place, different hotel, different this, like, it's just
Yeah, it's not
too
like
much more.
Yeah, it's not like after, like, a tough 90 minute
Yeah.
like second group game, Like you gotta hop on a plane right away at night.
Pack all your things and then go to the airport.
Especially at the time zones they were playing at 1 a.m. They were finishing games. Imagine you have to leave right after that.
Tough.
That'd be crazy.
Tough.
Well, that's it, boys. 2022 World Cup in Qatar finished off with a bang. Our boy Lionel Messi getting his well-deserved World Cup. One more question for you guys. Last question.
You sure?
Does this end the debate? Nope. Is Messi now the GOAT of GOATs? Or at least, the GOAT between the debate Messi and Ronaldo? Is he the guy?
In my opinion, he was already the guy. But I think this just solidifies it. I agree. Yeah. What about you, Jay?
I mean, I was never a fan of putting like team awards for like individuals, but like Messi's always been the guy. I mean, he has the Ballon d'Ors to show for it too, so it's not even just the World Cup. So Messi was always the guy anyway.
That's it, man.
Yeah.
How about you, Jayzinho?
But why does a penalty shootout solidify a GOAT debate?
World Cup?
No, man.
But like, so the GOAT debate came down to a penalty shootout?
He has all the trophies you can win in world football.
Yeah. He does.
He's done it all.
Yeah.
There's nothing else he can win.
No, I don't hate anyone for picking Messi as their GOAT. You can make a very, very strong argument. But he's not my GOAT. My GOAT's Pele.
Why? What has he done that Messi hasn't done?
We'll get to that a little bit more. Give us a short part of it, short story.
Because Messi is the best footballer of all time. God-given talent put on this earth to play football. And his talent will never be topped. But that's the best. And greatness is more than just being the best. Greatness is impact and influence. And no one has impacted and influenced the game more than Pele. On top of every accolade, 3 World Cups, most goals in football history. Yeah.
There you go. Let us know what you guys think.
Wait, what about me?
Oh, yeah, true.
If a doctor didn't come up to Messi's home, give him a little GHD.
Huh?
Growth hormone. He had growth.
HGH?
HGH. Is it HGH? He had GHD.
Growth hormone deficiency. Yeah.
He had GHD, but they
GHD.
gave him HGH.
If he didn't get that, then who would we be talking about this right now?
He was still
He was good,
young
but would he
player.
have been able to, make it to the next step with whatever he was dealing with at the time? We don't know.
Modern medicine.
We don't know. But the only reason I don't think he's the GOAT because there was one player out there who has wanted it and has worked hard. And I'm not saying Messi hasn't, but who's worked harder to get to where he's at now and still at his age.
Who's your GOAT?
Which is Ronaldo. I don't think he's my GOAT either. I still have a debate. I'm still not settled, but my debate obviously still is Ronaldo being part of it because he still showed that he's worked so hard to get to where he's at, and he'll always be a winner. But he might not think he'll always be a winner. He always wants to be more and best, and he always has that drive.
Never satisfied.
Which is like something that no one really can really really understand, and how he is able to still have that drive at his age and already winning so much. I'm sure Messi was always drove to get this World Cup, right? He's always had that drive, but someone like Ronaldo, I just feel like some people don't really understand how his mind works sometimes. That's something that's really crazy.
One thing I will say is because when Messi won this World Cup, I think he would be okay with retiring.
Messi?
If Ronaldo won a World Cup, he wouldn't be okay. He would want another.
No, I think he would retire.
But he would want another.
Because he's 37. He's already his career is almost really done. And this was kind of his moment to end it. I think if he didn't win this World Cup, he was probably maybe playing one more year.
But Messi said he's not retiring.
Yeah,
Ronaldo,
he said he's not. But Messi
Ronaldo.
said he's not retiring too.
Yeah.
We'll see, man. Frick, dude.
But yeah, let us know in the comments who is your GOAT. If you have one already, if it's Messi, if it now became Messi.
And was this your favorite World Cup? Let us know what your favorite moment of this World Cup was. And until the next one in 2026.
Yes, sir.
See you there.
Canada. Oh, Canada. We got you.
Yeah. Drop a like, subscribe, comment. We the culture.
We the culture, baby.
Later, boys.
Cheers.
Later, JP. Give us a oh yeah. No, don't do that.
Give us a